What's something your family doesn't know about you? That I'm infertile. They are waiting for babies but they won't be coming. I'm the same way. When my mom was on her deathbed she was a bit delirious and I guess didn't remember me being so chubby, so she asked if I was pregnant. I told her yes just to see her smile one last time. She always wanted grandchildren but I couldn't give them to her. I'm 18 and I bought my first scratch off and won $10,000. I put it in saving and parents don't know I have it. Not to make this depressing, but they don't really see how lonely I am. I know how you feel. Every day I spend at home my mom gets mad at me because I don't go outside. Where should I go? I can't hang out with friends because I don't have any. I want to move out of home mostly so I could get mom off my back. She really doesn't know how terrible it is to hear her scream that I should spend time with my friends. I understand Ukrainian and I know they talk about how I should have been aborted or given away. Why would they think you don't speak it? Everyone else in my family is fluent in Ukrainian but I can't read, write or communicate complex ideas in Ukrainian. I don't think they understand that just because I can't do a lot of things in Ukrainian it doesn't mean that I can't do anything. I was brought to America when I was about 4 and I would go back every summer. I never learned the Ukrainian alphabet but since I would go back to Ukraine every summer it became really easy to understand everything around me. Where I live, what my phone number is or whether I am even alive. Do they think you went to buy some milk? No care to know. I've had the same email address for 25 years. My family now know I write romance novels for a living. They don't know I used to write straight up jerk off erotica as my sole source of income for a couple of years. That means that they definitely don't know that every Christmas present I bought for them during that time was paid for by basically the deepest perversions I could conjure up. My mother has a small statue of an elephant that I bought for her one year. It has pride of place on the mantelpiece. She has no idea that it was the direct result of me writing a very vivid bukkake scene. That's between me and the elephant, and so shall it remain. I got suspended from school because I used to skip lessons all the time. Weirdest punishment ever. My mum knew and didn't want to tell my dad as she knew he'd be disappointed, so she told me to work hard and get back on track. My dad left for work earlier than I went to school and got home after school finished, so I would just lie and pretend I was at school all day. I'm nearly 30 now and he still doesn't know. Mom to dad years ago Apra got suspended from school. He's really upset about it and is afraid to tell you. Dad, he will tell me in his time. It will be a good life lesson. Over a decade later. I'm studying graphic design every day, haven't touched games for months, yet they think I'm playing video games when I'm working on my computer. Do you intentionally keep it a secret? If so, why? No, they just make assumptions. Because I used to play a lot when I was a kid. My mother somewhat understands my passion for graphic design but my father has no idea. My family used to constantly ask me if I remembered any of my mom's abusive boyfriends doing anything to me. I always told them no, because they worked so hard and sacrificed so much to keep me safe from her and her homicidal pedophile boyfriends when she and my dad had shared custody. I never told them that I remember one of my mom's boyfriends shoving my head underwater and my mom nonchalantly calling out for him to stop. There were many more things my mother did to harm me and my family. And as far as any of her boyfriends doing anything else to me, I was told I've blocked out a lot of things. All I know is that growing up I had an incredibly strong fear of sexual intimacy, so I fear the worst, but cannot know for sure. Thank you all for your kind words. It truly means a lot to me, more than you all will know. I am doing fantastic now, and haven't associated with her for years. I felt like I owed it to myself to protect myself from her destructive and reckless behavior. Dad, I'm not actually that incompetent. You breathing down my neck when I'm cooking driving freaks me the F out. Also, I haven't been a virgin for years. My boyfriend hates driving and I genuinely think it's because every time he drives with his dad in the car, his dad is constantly making comments. Not as much now as the first 5 years after my boyfriend got his license, but the damage is done. He's constantly tense while driving now, and as a result absolutely hates it. He's a pretty good driver, never had any real problems, but I think he'd be a better driver if he could just relax a little. The week after graduation from high school I tried to hang myself in the basement but the rope broke. I wasn't going to college and I didn't see a bright future ahead. That was 5 years ago as of this past Friday. Right now the world seems very dark still, but I'm trying hard and I'm fighting every day to keep moving forward. I just get in my car and drive. I never really have a destination. I just need to leave. I've done it ever since I had access to cars. My mom will ask why I have a sleeping bag in my car and I, LL, just lie because I don't want the hassle. I am just as needy as you all. I can be independent but deep down I miss your attention and company. I just don't seem that way since everyone I know is needy, so there is always someone. That I'm badly depressed all of the time. Expect when I visit them. Going back home is just so comforting and I know that it's always my home no matter where I am. I seriously dread the day I lose this. It's one of my biggest fears. That I'm a millionaire. I'm super frugal and don't show it, but every time I make a big purchase they raise an eyebrow. I have a huge tattoo on my forearm that I've had for the last 10 years. I'm currently getting it removed with laser, but I've been using long sleeves whenever I get together with the family. My family is extremely conservative. Effin' annoying in the summer. I've kept a diary for the last 23 years including a great deal of detail about them, both good and bad. Some very bad, bordering on criminal. My sister is the executrix of my will. Should be interesting after I die. Ghostly laughter. That I'm a retired multimillionaire at 39 yo. They just think I'm a freelancer who travels a lot. It's for the best, I think. May I ask how did you do it? Stalker mode activated. I'm getting lots of questions about how I reached $2.3 million or $2.6 million as of this morning post jobs report rally. I cover this in my earlier threads briefly. I left grad school at 24 and worked a job for 14 years. Socked away about $70,000 per year the entire time. So there's half my money. The other half came from investment gains. I did the majority of buying in the years immediately after the 2009 subprime meltdown and financial crisis. Large cap US banks and technology names for pennies on the dollar. Many of you are too young to remember, but I remember all of it. Having money in those conditions was terrifying. Bear Stearns and then Lehman failing were earth-shattering events. I lost entire $20,000 to $30,000 investments in companies in the blink of an eye. The ones that survived and thrived. Those gains are still largely unrealized, meaning I have not sold them yet and I'll get slapped with an enormous long-term capital gains tax bill when I do, which is fine. Obvious question. How was I able to save so much for so long? One big reason is living in a southern state with low cost of living and no state income tax. I'm able to hold on to at least $15,000 to $25,000 more per year based on those two factors alone compared to someone in California. For example, the drawbacks to that are the government services in my state are pretty crap and minimal and all our new highways are toll roads, and so forth. I cried every night for years. I'm 21 and never had a date or any kind of romantic contact to a girl. Everybody thinks I'm a super funny and confident person but they don't know that I suffer. Well, that actually changed some weeks ago. I've met a girl and had my first kiss and I'm going on a date next Saturday. They don't know the actual amount of difficulties that I had going through life with undiagnosed ADHD. I got diagnosed at 28 after having essentially my third mental breakdown because of the huge amount of pressure and disgust I put on myself for failing to do even the simplest things. I told my parents and they were devastated, not because I had ADHD, but because they never knew or suspected. And honestly, looking from the outside, it was impossible to see. I was valedictorian. Graduated college magna cum laude, participated in tons of activities, seemed to have friends, etc. But I was so broken and only did those things because of deep shame that resulted in an almost suicide attempt that my body saved me from. It's hard to allow yourself to die from exposure. I was hoping to make it look like an accident, but after my body said nope, not gonna happen, I realized I really needed professional help. I'm doing much better now, but I know my parents wouldn't handle that well.